share my little corner of the world with a small collection of humans and abundant wildlife. It is a quiet town in a sleepy valley. Not much happens here. I rarely travel far from home, and I spend my days working, mostly, enjoying little moments here and there to myself, where I can partake in some hobbies or potter about the garden. Daily life may feel mundane at times, but I love to notice the subtle beauty and take comfort in simplicity. Comparison is a tendency many of us have. Why isn't my life more exciting? Why do they get to have that when I don't? Why is it that I can work hard and still not attain everything I wish? Life can be rather fickle that way. I remember when I was dealing with an illness, I suddenly became acutely aware of how free other people seemed and romanticized their ability to live with so much ease and joy in their own bodies. In contrast, I felt like I could barely live with myself. I wanted so deeply to have inner peace that it felt like everyone was happier than I, and it was incredibly unfair. But that wasn't true, at least not in the way I believed. And now I think it's a pity I spent so much time comparing when I could have taken inspiration from those very same people. I didn't want their lives, not really. I wanted the happiness I believed they possessed. A lot of these feelings, when unpacked, reveal so much about ourselves. As a teen, a friend of mine was always looking at photographs of women she felt were beautiful, and it fueled her desire to look different. She didn't like her face, her hair, her eyes. She wanted a new body. Speaking to her on the subject years later, she said that she realized she didn't truly want to change her face. She wanted that feeling of self-love when looking in the mirror, that feeling of confidence in her own skin, of wanting to know her worth and not needing other people to make her believe it. Changing her body wouldn't have resolved that, not over the long term. If you're chasing something external to feel at peace with yourself, the cycle seems to never end. At least that was my case as a competitive student. I spent so many years trying to be the best scholar, only to graduate having accomplished the goal I thought would change everything, and realizing that now I could only think of being an even better student, maybe a professor, getting a PhD, being noted in a magazine. If I put my worth in my credentials, I'd spend the rest of my life moving up an endless ladder. It was my choice when I would say, no, this is enough. I have enough. I'm content with the way things are. Once I became aware of this pattern of aiming for something and then being disappointed once I got it, I began to question everything. So many patterns in my series of toxic relationships, in my eventual dislike of any job I had, in comparing myself, my tendency to circle back to my eating disorder whenever I feared the future. It's scary to realize that you have power to shape your own reality. If there is one thing I learned from my illness and the personal growth that was required to overcome it, is that becoming the person you want to be is rarely a linear path. It's a cycle of forward and backward movement that slowly gets you to a good place. It takes time, and while I don't know that I'm there yet, I know that it gets easier. Hello everyone, I'm using a new mic. Hopefully you can hear me. We'll find out. The snow is already melting over here. It started melting a little early this year, and it's exciting nonetheless because I'm able to start planning my garden, and that is just about the best thing because I absolutely love spring and planning what I'm gonna grow and picking out the seeds. It's just my favorite time of the year. So the inspiration behind this video was just thinking back on how much I've changed in the way I think and perceive the world, and that it took a lot of time and patience to get to that place. And I think that as humans, sometimes we can be quite impatient with ourselves and want to grow in the way we want to grow within 24 hours or just be a better person the next day and not expect ourselves to make mistakes. It's so easy to be hard on yourself when you're aware of who you want to be. And I think in relation to comparing your life with other people, as I continue to try to build a life I love and that brings me joy, I try to replace that pattern of thinking of constant comparison, constant yearning for something you don't have, and instead just making those observations and using it as inspiration to apply to your own life. But I do think it is so important to just be aware of your own patterns. And for me, taking inspiration from nature has always guided me, and it means so much to look outside and see that a season is coming to an end and a new one is beginning. And I do find that, at least in my case, and it maybe will be for you, that comparison and dealing with difficult emotions in regards to wanting a life that someone else has that you don't have, for me, it was really working on that internal dialogue and changing the words you say to yourself to kinder words, to gentle words, to compassionate words, and really working on loving yourself. It ended up being a lot simpler answer than I thought it would be. So if you were on Instagram, you know that my dog decided to roll in something horrendous, and the entire house was permeated with the smell of whatever he rolled in, and it was horrible. And I washed him like 3 times and I still couldn't get the smell out, but you guys had a lot of wonderful recommendations, and thankfully they were very effective, and I think he smells decent now after applying your methods. He doesn't smell great, but I think he'll get there eventually. The entire house is filled with dog hair and bunny hair right now. Since it started warming up, everyone is shedding, so it's been fun. Wishing you a wonderful week. I'm sending my love, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.